Whenever I want to watch Spider-Man, I always end up going back to The Amazing Spider-Man. I never really questioned why, it just sort of became my comfort movie over time. But this time I decided to rewatch every Spider-Man movie and figure out what Andrew Garfield's duology does differently, and why is it these movies that I want to come back to every time. And after rewatching everything, I think I might have a few answers. First is something I didn't have to think about for too long. It's the atmosphere. This movie came out in 2012, and I feel like this movie gives absolutely these vibes of those years. The clothes that characters are wearing, the color grading, and the night vibes. I feel like this movie is really great for watching at night or in the rainy days, because that's just the vibe that this movie gives. Night, New York City, reflections in the building, it all looks so incredible, and every time I watch this movie it just feels like taking a breath of fresh air. Big part of this movie is, of course, Andrew Garfield. I think he plays Peter Parker very well. It is really the cool version of Peter Parker, which I like the most. Maybe I'm not that a fan of a true comic Spider-Man, Peter Parker, and so I think he's doing really great in this role as Peter Parker, especially Peter and Gwen. Of course, they have so much chemistry, they work really well together. I love their funny parts, their jokes, and their romantic parts. It's all really sweet, makes me want to kick my feet in the air. I love how passionate they're both about science, and especially in the second movie when they work together and Gwen helps Garfield, and Gwen helps Peter figure out the web shooter stuff. Also, this movie made me look differently at Gwen Stacy, because when I was little, I saw this Gwen from Spider-Man, very first Spider-Man movies, and I didn't like her for some reason. I rewatched these movies and I want to say she's not even that bad, but The Amazing Spider-Man definitely made me look a bit differently at Gwen Stacy. So now I like both of them. I think The Amazing Spider-Man is the movie with the best Spider-Man moves. Have you seen how he crawls on that lizard, shooting him with spiderweb? I've never seen that before. I feel like people don't talk about it enough, because that's incredible. I see that every time and I'm like, oh wow, that's a spider. I just feel like his moves in this movie are definitely more free and are nicer to look at. I love how he swings around New York City, and I feel like he has more freedom and he's more athletic in the way he just moves and fights. But just in general, I feel like the way they showed Spider-Man swinging across New York is amazing, and these are one of the best scenes in The Amazing Spider-Man, and something that is not shown so much in Sam Raimi's movies and in movies with Tom Holland. At first, Peter doesn't try to become a superhero. He wants to revenge his Uncle Ben, and this shows how imperfect Peter Parker is in this universe, in his own way. And I like how they showed this imperfections and his mistakes, and this also leads the path to Peter creating his new suit, which is my next favorite part. I absolutely love how they showed how he created the suit. I think it shows that he's, first of all, smart. He's pretty talented. He can sew some parts of the suit together. I love how they showed him looking for the material for the suit, which turned out to be spandex, everything spandex. And I definitely love the suit from the first Amazing Spider-Man rather than the second one. I don't know why, it just feels better. I love the yellow eyes, which I know a lot of people actually don't like. Weirdly enough, I like it, and I like how the suit feels a little bit wet, a little bit slimy, but it just gives some kind of vibe to it. It looks so good at night, New York City. This movie also has a serious tone, visually and story-wise, and darker color grading helps a lot with that. Unlike Tom Holland's Spider-Man, those movies lean more into comedy, and I don't mind that. I just feel like, for me personally, it's harder to sit through more emotional scenes where overall mood of the movie is lighter and more fun. I love how this movie is not afraid to show Peter Parker absolutely beaten up. That's a weird thing to say. He's also, how old is he? 16, 17 years old? Maybe that's not the best thing to say, but I think that's so much more interesting when Spider-Man is beaten up. I love how he gets bruises and he has to tell Aunt May what happened or hide whatever happened to him. How his chest is absolutely scratched, which gave us an amazing scene with Gwen. I just love that this movie doesn't try to be clean and perfect, and I think it just creates so much intensity, probably is a good word. Yeah, I like to see Peter struggle and get hurt. I'm not a sadist, okay? I just think it plays a big role in Spider-Man because Spider-Man fights a lot. I guess if you're showing fights, you just should show like intense fights with real consequences. Do we even need to talk about sarcasm in this movie? I think it really works great with the serious tone of the movie, and these are the reasons why I like Spider-Man. I tried to create this feeling of, oh, I like it because of the vibes, into something more specific and something I can't explain with words. And I also would like to talk about the other Spider-Man movies. For example, the first movies with Tobey Maguire. Some Raimi's movies were definitely incredible for their time. I think they have this comic feeling that none of other Spider-Man movies have. The CGI was done incredibly. You can see how much work was given into making these movies, but still they don't really click for me, and I think a big part of it is they feel a bit older. I wasn't even born yet when the first movie came out, so I don't have the nostalgia that the most people have for it. In the first movie, I remember watching it and the world feels smaller. I don't know how to explain it, but it's just so comic-like, probably. The next two movies were much better, and from these three, I can definitely say I like the third one more. I love Venom, and I love the Venom Spider-Man. Spider-Venom? Venom Man. Also, Peter is kind of an asshole in these movies. While trying to write reasons why Tom Holland's Spider-Man is not as great as The Amazing Spider-Man for me, I had so many points that I thought I felt like I'm hating on the movies, but I'm actually not. I don't hate the movies. I just once again tried to translate my feelings into words, and I guess it meant to find reasons not to like the movie. First of all, it just feels like his movies are overshadowed by some other characters. In Homecoming, it's Iron Man. In the second movie, it's, what's his name? Beck? No, Beck is the enemy. Fury. In the second movie, it's Fury. Third movie, it's Doctor Strange, even though third movie is much better than the first two, in my opinion, and I will come back to it a bit later. To me, Spider-Man is a story about Peter Parker who suddenly gets his superpowers and has to figure out stuff by himself. Okay, his girlfriend can know that he's Spider-Man, his friend can know. The main thing is independence and having all of this in secret and doing everything by himself. I think it's much more interesting to watch him make mistakes, make decisions that turn into mistakes, and just resolve them on his own, and seeing how he grows from these previous experiences. In these movies with Tom Holland, it's more like he has help of Tony Stark. Tony Stark gives him the suit, which doesn't even feel like he created that suit, but it's not like in the first two movies when he created the suit by himself. And I'm not even talking that, oh, it's full of technologies and it sucks. That would be so cool if Peter Parker just made all of this by himself, on his own, if he was as smart. I think an interesting thing in Iron Man is when he was creating his suits, he came up with the idea and he was just improving it on his own. And I love the moments when he was actually creating his suits. I love when they showed these moments, and I think that's what's missing with Spider-Man. That's great that in the second movie he was using the machines that Tony Stark left in the airplane or whatever, but it's not the same. He didn't come up with this, and yeah, I guess he is smart, but it's not shown as much in Tom Holland's movies, so that sucks. Also, I don't think it's cool that in Homecoming, Iron Man just gives him the suit and tells him what to do and what not to do, which is basically everything. You can just, I don't know what he can do, but it's just not cool. It just takes all of the freedom from Spider-Man. And like I said before, I do enjoy comedy in this movie, but for me, I love drama. I love something that just tears your heart apart. I want something that completely destroys you. And I love when the movies build up to this moment. It helps me to get more into the movie. That being said, I actually am very excited for a brand new day. I want to watch it. I don't know if I will, but I really want to. And I have a feeling like this is going to be my favorite Spider-Man movie out of all Tom Holland's Spider-Man movies. From what I've seen for now, from the trailers, it looks much more mature, which can be made because Peter Parker is an adult nowadays. They could make the same mature style for previous movies, but maybe they did it intentionally, different vibes, but I just happen to enjoy the mature vibe more. So I think I will like this movie much more. I definitely like the way it looks, and because no one knows who Peter Parker is, it kind of gives this independent feeling to this movie, again, which I might like if everything is done how I like. Going back to No Way Home, I really think that the movie started being good after Aunt May's death, because the scenes after her death were incredible. I think they reminded me a lot of comics. I don't know if I haven't read the comics really, but I feel like this would be in comics, and it looks just amazing. Feels amazing. Did I just say Aunt May's death feels amazing? That's not what I meant though. And I really loved the moment when Peter Parker started living in his own apartment, when he got into his new apartment. This shot in the end, it really reminded me a little bit of the games about Spider-Man. I haven't played, but I've seen the gameplay. Yeah, it just gives me that feeling, and it's really cozy, cozy Peter Parker in New York City vibes, which I really love, and it starts feeling more about Peter Parker. And I don't know what the problem of previous movies was, even though I tried to name them. I'm not sure that was all of them. I feel like there's something else, but okay, so hopefully Brand New Day is going to be better than previous movies, and hopefully Hulk is not going to overshadow Peter. Anyway, that's it for today. Thanks for sticking with me, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!
Somebody's been a bad lizard.